All right, everyone. Had some minor technical difficulties backstage, but it has all been resolved by our incredible tech team back here, and we are now all ready to go with Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. All right, you're ready to go, Laser Trap?
Or are they not getting audio through? John, can you hear us?
Hear you. Sorry, I don't know if we're supposed to wait.
Yep, you are live.
You're good to go, John.
Oh, sorry. All right. Sorry, everyone. But hello. I am Laser Trap. I press buttons and go fast, and I have a commentator for the ages with me today. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shimcat. I've played this game a little bit. I do quite like Ghost Yoda and regular Yoda, and some other characters who you'll see in this run.
Absolutely. So I really want to thank Osborne for inviting me to this. This was supposed to be at the GDQ PAX East stage, and it was dropped because DS capture is really difficult to manage and take on the road. So Osborne invited me here, and I'm really thankful for that. I also love when the speedrun community helps their friends and, other people all around the world, as we so frequently see. This run is going to be quite chaotic. I'm going to start by picking a custom character. The custom character can infinite jump. You will also hopefully see a little bit of Yoda in this level, but this level will be really, really short, so we'll barely get any time to explain what happens. Basically, I'm going to get out of bounds and jump to the end room of the level. So with that said and done, I think that's the quick explanation I can give. I'm going to hand over to Shem to see if we can figure out what's happening on the screen. And time will start. I'll give a rough countdown in 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right, so this game is a little weird when it comes to loading the loading zones, because it likes to keep a lot of the ones from later in the level in the same area as the ones earlier in the level. So that is the penultimate room, just with the collisions not loaded, and we can just jump there, since we can infinite jump and get out of bounds with the custom character. And from there, we're in the last room, just run to the end, and also do a little clip with Yoda through the door, because Yoda can also do that.
Yeah, we're off to a great start. Going instantly through the ceiling is awesome. That style of clip through the ceiling, it's hopefully the only time I'll have to use it in this run, but you're kind of dealing with a lot of randomness. So that level was like a very quick preview to the chaos you're going to see during this run. And now we have a much longer level to kind of digest what we saw there and also, talk about the mechanics of this game. So Ghost Yoda, same movement as regular Yoda, but when he's a ghost, the enemies can't see him and distract him. You see he's going fast with attacks there, and then infinite jumps or something I can do as custom character. Let me hand this one to Shem, actually.
Yeah, so the custom character is weird, because it's one of the only characters who can double jump, but also use a blaster, and the game, I guess, wasn't really tested for that, and so the double jump never resets, basically, so long as you do a blaster shot in between. So you can just keep on linking those together and just get as much height as you need. And yeah, something like the big sand crawl, you can just jump right onto the top. And then once we're in the sand crawler, lots of Yoda clips. So if you do, so his attacks come in sets of 3, and if you do the second attack at a 45-degree angle, and then the third attack towards the door, that will give you enough like speed to just clip straight through. Another thing about Yoda's attacks is they, even though you do them to get into the air, they don't reset your jumps or your double jumps, so you can attack, make a bunch of distance over a gap, and then jump, double jump, and get really far. So we basically got triple jumps and quad jumps, which allow for Yoda to do some crazy parkour that's no other character in this game has access to, really.
Absolutely. So the thing about door clips is that I have been running this game for so long that I kind of map out Yoda's movement to go through a door as quickly as possible, like you saw there. So I want it to look seamless, when in reality there's a lot going on that you can't necessarily see. But as we move into Death Star Escape, we will not actually be rescuing the princess in this level. There's a trick called Princessless. First of all, though, there's a door that this one I just have to force open, and the next one I can't clip through. So I'm going to go through the ceiling instead with hopefully a frame-perfect jump, and there we go. And then with Princessless, I'm going to hop on top of a couple things, such as a security camera just coming up here, and then from there, up onto an invisible ledge, and from there, specific movement to go towards the camera. Okay, not quite the right movement there. So as my backup, I'm going to take it a little bit slower, fly towards the camera with R2, and there we go. Skipping a large chunk of the level, including rescuing the princess. And then in the last room, something even weirder is going to happen. I have to raise the Falcon, like, up to be used to escape, but then I'm going to push player 2, if they cooperate, beyond the loading zone of that door, and then jump way far out of bounds to the side, die on purpose, but character swap once another room loads, get loaded back in the same room that I should be in, and all the collision is gone. Except for the ground, basically. I can't character swap in this time to skip certain animations I would otherwise, because that would make the collision come back. And because of that, I have to end on this R2 panel. And there we go, there's the Falcon. We can escape, but we went through a bunch of stuff. You know, I'm pretty happy with how that went.
Yeah, that was very, very clean, and the death to get out of bounds, that is quite hard to prevent at times, because when you go into a different room that you're not supposed to be in, it will still lag the game out a little bit, which can lead to dropped inputs and stuff like that, so it's a little bit tricky.
And we got a little bit of time to breathe in this level. It's like putting together the Yoda stuff you've already seen. So I've got about 30 seconds to hand it over to Daredevil if you want to say anything.
I sure do. So as a reminder, this is Quest for Quet, where we are raising funds to help train and deal with the regular raising costs of Quet's trained new service dog. These service dogs can be quite expensive, and they need highly specialized training. So all donations go towards a great cause.
It's a Discord issue on my end.
Yeah, I'll let you know when when they're finished talking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be a Discord issue on your end. But yes, there's highly specialized training, and so all donations go towards that training as well as the cost to help raise Quet. We have raised $1,050 so far, and we have $200 to go for our next milestone, some bonus races for Sonic Racing Future.
All right, thank you very much. And with that, we are done with the first episode of the run, which was very, very fast.
Yeah, sorry about that. I guess Discord wasn't completely worked out on my end. That's a weird thing when I get dragged through voice channels. All kinds of people suddenly disappear. This is a infinite jump trick. Infinite jump is an easy thing to pull off, but the tricks you do with it are not. So I'm going to hand it over to Shem again.
Yeah, so this one is called Handlessless. We used to have a trick called Handless, and that got obsoleted by this one, so Handlessless. And we just jump from the first room all the way to the area for the third to last one, And then the penultimate one is very fast, and the final one is pretty damn fast as well. So overall, you just get an insanely quick level.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jabba's Palace in this game combines with the Great Pit of Carcoon. And yeah, you just jump to the end of that, and the level kind of ends when you're at the right side of that room. And now we're on to one of the most variable levels I could possibly imagine in a cute Lego game, because when you're playing single player, as you often will be on DS, you need to kind of make sure you can do the best you can to get the AI player 2 to actually work with you. So right now I got them in a good spot to get those early hits, but now I'm going to go for a trick that saves about 10 seconds or loses 25 if I mess it up, and it is called only fanless, because it's the only possible way of going fast in this level, and you skip the fan. So, fairly difficult jump to get up top here, first of all, without the fan. But now that I'm up here, I am not... player 2 is not available to me to help here. So I'm going to have to do this all myself.
Yeah, so every time you hit Palpatine,
Oh, no. Yeah, that third hit.
Oh, that's unlucky. Yeah, every time you hit Palpatine, he will just jump to somewhere else. And in that time, because Yoda is so fast, you can just get over there and throw out your attack before he's able to use his Force Lightning on you. But of course, if he decides, nope, your attack didn't come through, your partner won't be smart enough to climb up there with you, and you will just die.
Yeah, and I'll have to build the fan now so that they can get up there. And they're taking their sweet time, like as you can see right now about player 2 maybe not cooperating. Oh, I didn't need to do that. That wasn't a very good backup, but I also got caught a second time, which is really unhelpful. So that's like probably more than 30 seconds there, unfortunately. But I felt good about how I was playing before that, so hopefully not a sign of things to come in this run.
Yeah, it is very precise. Like, as you saw, it was very, very close to working. The game's just mean sometimes, and with a trick as precise as that, just the very small errors will definitely hurt.
You've got to be really familiar with how Yoda moves, and so I can not stress this enough that I like really, really want loads of people to try out this category, but please do not start with that trick in your runs. Oh, and now player 2 is not even getting on the elevator. We're getting into a hot mess territory for this level, but that just happens sometimes. This is the beauty of no resets here. All right, please get on the elevator now. Thank you, friend.
Yeah, most of the time we can just solo everything in this game. There isn't really much reason for the AI to be there, just because we are so powerful ourselves. But for this level in particular, we do need the AI to help us out, and it is not very clever. It can be pretty damn silly at times.
A lot of moments where you are required to... Well, basically, you approach the Emperor, and you can't avoid getting hit by the lightning. Now we go into Endor, which is a little bit more chill, but it is like another really nice showcase of Yoda movement, more so than Spaceport was. So I'm going to do some fairly risky jumps over these gaps. I used to play it a little bit more safe, but now I am going for speed, so I am basically doing some death-defying jumps. And then there's a room transition that is locked behind a death barrier. So what would I do to avoid that? Well, I can use a self-destruct extra to blow up a droid, and on the same frame as doing that, swap to another character, using a shoulder button preferably, but you can also do that with touchscreen. And I got it first try there to basically store death frames. Iframes will not get me past that barrier, but when you die like that, it does. It works a little bit differently. And then towards the end, we're just going to be clipping into the bunker a few times. So let's see. Here's the first one. Very nice. Door clips are like, if you get them as I am currently doing, they look so seamless, but if I mess them up, it's going to look like I don't know what I'm doing. That's just the nature of door clips. Fortunately, all of those ones were first try. So that was a little bit more chill, but now I'm going into the hardest Yoda level of the run. Most of them, these levels, I will be picking Yoda. Others will be custom character for the infinite jump skills. And at the beginning, I need to do 2 frame-perfect character swaps out of a jump slam attack, and then use that height perfectly to get through the ceiling just like that. I'm really happy with my consistency on that trick lately. But it's not going to stop there. This isn't a door you can clip through because of the thick ice around it. So instead... Oh, yeah. Doing my movement slightly wrong. Just to get over that door and around that backwards room transition. That's a tricky one. That's a much easier method than the old one where you could kind of squeeze through the side with something that's not your regular door clip.
Yeah, that door's very weird as well, because if you do it slightly wrong and you don't quite clip out the way you should, it just puts you back, like, right before the door.
Yeah, that's the case with a couple doors in this run, unfortunately, so we instead find very creative ways to go around it, usually through the ceiling. But yeah, more, as one of my friends called them, stalactite jumps through this little cave. And then this door is particularly tricky because it's at an angle, but I'm on a roll right now. And then through the force field, just to activate what will end this level. Back through very nicely as well, and that is the hardest Yoda level done. Mostly problem-free. Like, the part that I had trouble on was one of the easier parts. Do you remember what happens in 5.5, Shem? Because this is kind of new. It wasn't something you did, but it's a new infinite jump trick.
I think I know. Is this where you do some jumps onto the banner here?
Yeah.
And then from there you are out of bounds and you can just jump all the way into the next door. And as you could see, Boba Fett was standing there. The reason doing that is fast is because doing it skips a cutscene with Boba Fett just like running away.
And from here, for what it's worth, also, these doors you can't clip through with Yoda.
Yeah, not with Yoda at least. You can in some other ways, but it is not fun.
And then this is an easier strat to end the level than jumping out of bounds from the previous room. That Shem used to go out of bounds in this room, and we were like, why are you doing that? You're taking the easy way out. Turns out Shem was doing the faster method all along. And so that just ends the level behind that door, which you also could not clip through. I don't know why, they're just thicker doors. And then we go to Dagobah. It's a really, really nice Yoda level. I don't think I have anything particular to say. It's one of my favorite levels, but I would like to kind of let it speak for itself, and then I'll let Daredevil talk. If I still can't hear, I'll let Shem just tell me when I can start talking again. So about a minute here, Daredevil.
All right, are you able to hear me now?
I can. Good.
Oh, hooray! All right, I think we fixed it. Excellent. But yes, I did want to remind folks that in addition to our milestone incentive for those Sonic Racing Futures bonus races, we also have our bid war for language for one of our upcoming runs of Octopath Traveler between English and Japanese. So if you put in a donation now, you can actually put it towards both of those, since that Sonic Riders Future is a milestone donation and Octopath Traveler is a bid war.
All right. So we still have a little bit more time if you do have anything else quick.
So yes, just a couple interesting service dog facts. So one is that service dogs are actually covered under the ADA, and so folks who have service dogs actually have a right to bring them into public establishments. And so because of that, they actually need to tolerate a wide variety of experiences, people, environments, and they can actually even live with disabled owners even if there happens to be a no pet policy generally in place, since they are covered under the ADA. So that's just, a few fun facts about service dogs and a few fun facts about the training that Quet will be going through. Very highly specialized training that is quite expensive, and so that's what we're all here to help with.
Yeah, I love when the community groups together for their friends, like I said. It's really special, a really special feeling to be involved, even with people I don't necessarily know very well. It's just a really fun event to be a part of, and it's been really nice to watch everyone come together for this. In the meantime, we are actually done with the original trilogy now, and this is the only level that I'm picking custom character for that doesn't have a large skip, but it's just useful for progressing this boss fight a little bit faster. This level is all one boss fight that takes place within the same room that has like a fair amount of verticality, so that's why these infinite jumps are better for getting up quickly. And actually, we're almost done. It's quite a quick level as well. This is a 22 level run where my PB is 35 minutes, so that's on average just over 1.5 minutes per split. There is one split that takes up almost 3.5 minutes, which we don't like very much, but we'll get there when we get there. That was Grievous, and then we're going into probably the coolest Yoda level, which fortunately isn't too hard, but it has some great talking points as well. Shem, I think this is your favorite level, right?
I think I would say this one is my favorite in the whole run. It is so cool. One of the reasons for that is these invisible bridges. They have a hitbox even before you've let the bridges down, so we can just jump around with a slightly precise jump with Yoda and just move around them, and it looks really silly. And it's really cool. It's surprisingly difficult to do optimally as well, so adds a nice little bit of skill to this level as well.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that does make it so difficult is these fences on the side of these platforms. If you swing too close to them, you can get stuck on them and even get sent through the ground, which is not the kind of clip we want to be seeing in this run. So if I just jump around there nicely and into where the bridge collision is, yep, across problem-free. And this, as I now, I guess, famously say, is the beach. If I get close enough to the bombs, you can see why. And then in this room, to skip this like little gate here, I'm gonna go over the top, and that is way harder than it looks, because there is an invisible wall that you have to get under. Like they tried to prevent that by placing an invisible wall there, but it doesn't go all the way down, so we go underneath it. So you have to not keep too much height, but also not lose too much height. I totally forgot that this is the part where I go up. But there we go. Now climbing the mountain. And the last door clip, actually the only door clip of the level, is quite a tricky one because it's at a weird slanty angle. And there's also not much of a width to work with there, but it worked quite well. I accidentally changed characters at the end of this level, and that's because it's way faster to use the Force in this game with the touchscreen. You do have the option to press A, but it is much, much slower. At this point, as we go into the next level, I do want to give a shout out and a big thank you to Zelda Cubed, who has the world record in this category. Probably doesn't want me to mention that because he just gets on with the game. But no, he's been a big help in like pushing me to go further in this category. I now have over 1,700 attempts, you know, loosely spread out across 7 years, but this is my most run category, my favorite category. And he also found a new route that is supposed to help with getting Yoda more often when you don't pick Yoda. We didn't see that here, unfortunately. But we are now going to see a big infinite jump skip, and I'll hand over to Shem again.
Yeah, so this one, rather than using any of the main rooms, we actually go into one of the side rooms where you usually find a mini kit, which is a collectible in this game, and we can just jump out of bounds. Eventually, we'll find ourselves in the penultimate room, and you can just fall down and land in the loading zone.
Excuse me.
And then
I can't hit the last guy.
And yeah, from there it's a pretty short final room, and you can just finish the game finish the level like that.
Yeah, finish the game. Credits 4%. Yeah, that's a really fast-paced level again. I did say this would be a chaotic run. No, for real. I'm often impressed with myself that I'm able to say basically everything I want to say over the course of one of these runs, especially because it's getting shorter and shorter with all the discoveries that we find. This one is slightly less chaotic, although it will have another door that we can't actually clip through with Yoda. It, for some reason, seems to be too thick. Like, even if the pillars weren't blocking the way, we can't do a normal Yoda clip through it. So instead of going over this one, which we can do, there's a slide clip. So there we go.
If there's a door, we'll find a way, basically.
Basically all the time. And then kind of a weird room because all of these platforms are descending, so I have to play it really safe on those first ones and not swing with Yoda. But because Yoda's fast, I should be able to catch up to Vader, who for some reason, player 2 is a little faster in this room. Then we get to a boss, and we didn't mention this yet, but the fastest way to take out bosses is to throw bombs at them, because they're quite annoying to deal with in a lightsaber duel, but they have no way of blocking against the bounty hunter bombs. And that's episode 3 done. One thing I also haven't mentioned is I haven't been doing every level of every episode, and that's because those are ship and vehicle levels, which are not available in free play, and free play is when you get to take every character into a level, so yeah, it's good fun to do it this way. All right, Crimea River time is the name of the skip, and again over to Shem.
Yeah, so I believe what John Nolly says here is the reason it's called that is because it makes you cry, and it was discovered by a river. And it's another one, go from the first room to the penultimate room. You just jump and jump and jump, and you see the big lag spike there. It is very, very possible to just drop a bunch of inputs, and it's quite annoying to do so. But yeah, you can just fall into the penultimate room there. But that's not all. That is not all. So, we can improperly load the boss arena here, and by doing that, the floor itself won't be loaded. So, when Jango Fett spawns in...
I missed the landing. Okay.
Ah, unlucky.
That's a rare mistake.
Yeah, so when Jango Fett is properly loaded in, because the floor isn't there, we will fall through, but so will Jango, and the boss fight will just end, because...
There we go.
Yeah, he's he's not standing anywhere, he just falls out of bounds. And we finished levels super, super quickly like that.
Yeah, it's a fun trick. That was a rare mistake for me to make, but I'm glad I backed it up because the backup is for some reason harder. Like, when you go through the ceiling the first time, the improper load, as we call it, happens much, much sooner. But then if you, like, either clip back in bounds or, like, miss the trick like I did, for some reason the load happens later and is harder to work with. Here, Z-Cube actually recently discovered that there's a little bit, like, off to the side here where the conveyor is still pushing us forwards, and we can still go past the crushers like that, which is faster than attacking on the side. There's a little manipulation that I can hopefully... Well, not anymore, because for some reason they swapped. But I need player 2 to not be Yoda, because Yoda without his lightsaber out when there's no danger is the slowest character in the game, as opposed to the fastest, as I am demonstrating. I think usually when player 2 character swaps, the manipulation doesn't work, although we did go straight to the button, which is a little rare. Droid Factory is one of only 3 levels in the run, basically, where something can happen to make you lose time and you feel like it isn't your fault. The first one we already saw was Jedi Destiny, that great battle with Emperor Palpatine, and then the third level is the one immediately after this. So that's fun to have 2 in a row like this. But I'm setting up for another skip to go through the ceiling, which is a little inconsistent. We'll see if I got it here. Okay, not quite enough. That was actually my fault for not double jumping. There we go, through the ceiling now, and then end the level with 1 bomb throw to blow up everything, and then we can force kill Obi-Wan for fun at the end as well.
Hell yeah.
Alright. It is, unfortunately, Jedi battle time. This level is, about 3 minutes long by IL timing, and it's all one big room. There's nothing much you can do. Basically, the Skill in this level is just knowing where everything will be as you progress the level. And then there's a bit of luck in, you know, how well will P2 cooperate, because you do want them to help you to go optimally. So hopefully here they're going to pull the other lever. They're taking a weird line, but I did hear them pull it, and that means that these battle droids are all ready to be dismantled with my lightsaber. Oop. Slightly weird movement on my part, and then we can free Padme. But there's going to be more pillars of this. This is like a time when, if I have chat open like I do right now, I would love to do a little Q&A time with marathons, like if you have any questions that haven't been answered about the run. And before that point, Daredevil, it's another great chance if you've got stuff you want to say.
All right, so one quick thing I do want to say is that Quet is actually planned to be a service dog with highly specialized training, as I mentioned. Now, some folks may have heard of something like an emotional support animal, and while those are certainly out there and they do certainly have paperwork associated with them in some cases, the training for a service dog is much more intensive, much more comprehensive or something like that. And so that is why you can see these significantly higher costs for things like Quest for Quet. And so we definitely appreciate all donations here. Everything goes towards helping with those training as well as the cost of raising Quet. So definitely get your donations in. We still do have that milestone available. We do still have that language bid war available. All donations help.
Yeah, I love seeing how much we've raised already. Thank you everyone for tuning in and helping out. You may have seen like a strange reaction in my webcam. That wasn't to what Daredevil was saying. That was because I accidentally went really fast for a second. I did like a blind bomb throw that I guess worked out more than I realized, because the enemies at that point were off screen and I did not think that I had got all of them. But hooray, we're going a little bit faster. And right here, more bomb throws is... First of all, it's efficient to take out these groups of enemies at the front, but with droidicas, as you see, it's by far the fastest way to take them out. I left one alive. That's just a glitch that I call Matrix. It's a friendly one. It's not going to get involved. And it just progresses the level anyway, even though it's supposed to wait for all of the enemies to be dead in a certain spot. We are reaching the end of this level, though. It's actually kind of flown by, which never happens with this level. And now we'll be going into another fight with Django. Unfortunately, this time, I have no way to send him through the door, so I am just going to be throwing more bombs in his face. About halfway through, he'll start flopping.
Yeah, this version of Django, or Django Fett rather, just because he's not a lightsaber boss. He's a little easier to take out if you want to use like a lightsaber or a blaster, but the bombs are still the easiest way. Just use the bounty hunter. It'll be pretty damn easy.
We will also be going into another boss level here. This is another short, basically just boss level. It pretends to have a level leading up to it. And, you know, in free play, it kind of pretends to even have a boss because, again, we do have bombs. Although, that said, it is a little trickier to manage. All in all, it's very simple, but there's more than meets the eye. We get to do a little clip into the boss arena, and then see if I can get an early throw. Yeah, nice. And then this boss gets interrupted by having extra phases that don't actually have hearts, but the bombs still work. So I got myself into a position that was good to avoid those canisters. Now lightning. The lightning doesn't get in the way of bombs, so I don't really care if it hits me, because in free play you also have extras allowed to turn on, one of them being invincibility, which you may think, well, doesn't that take the challenge out of the run? No, absolutely not. This is one of the hardest runs I've ever mastered.
Yeah, a lot of the times invincibility doesn't do much since you're just playing as Ghost Shooter anyway, who's invincible by default.
Yeah, and now we're finally heading into episode 1. We do the levels out of order just for like a little bit of character manipulation whenever available. Although unfortunately, luck was not on my side for that this run. Like I didn't even get him in Jabba's palace. Nonetheless, here we are. It's a good first level. Like back before this route existed, I did kind of enjoy starting here because it gave me more of a chance to explain everything that you'd be seeing. But right now, you've already seen the chaos, and I'm sort of blitzing through and going through doors and stuff. I have actually failed very few door clips in this run. This is probably the highest success rate with door clips that I've ever had in a marathon.
Hell yeah.
It's a shame
Well, you got-
that Destiny didn't go so well, and I missed that one infinite jump as well. All right. Sorry if I cut you off there, Shen. Did you have something else you wanted to add?
No, when you said the door clips have been going well, you can't say that too early. We've got some of the pretty tricky, some of the trickiest ones in the run still to go. So
Yeah, we'll be fine. This one only has one, and it's the one I recommend practicing on.
yeah, not in this level.
Yeah, this is unfortunately the character RNG is still not in my favor here because I want my final slot, the one that I can press L to access, as I call it, slot 8, because there are 8 characters. I would like to get a grapple character on that slot to just make the beginning of this level much easier and generally smoother as well, because otherwise I would have to use the touchscreen to quickly swap to the right character. I could press R twice to get to my closest available grapple character. However, character swaps, they do generate a little bit of lag. So that's why I don't want to do that. Although nowhere near as much as you see in some other DS LEGO games, such as Batman, which we both really like. But it does lag a lot, does Batman.
Yeah, it is pretty insane at times. Also, you'll notice
First cancels here.
the movements of this run. It uses the Yoda attacks, and they come in sets of 3. And usually we just jump out of them because that conserves as much momentum. But something a little funky you can do in levels like this is you can start using the Force very, very briefly to cancel the end lag of the 3rd attack, and then just go into another sequence. And it saves a little bit of time just because you can use more Yoda attacks rather than just jumping at the normal speed.
Yeah, the jump is faster because there's like time between the 3rd attack and then looping back around to the first set where it's kind of like in place. So I think of the jump as like a cleaner way of doing an animation cancel, because sometimes in this game you can animation cancel, which we completely brushed over on pulling the levers. Oops, accidental slam there. Nice sound glitch on that room transition. But yeah, whenever you pull a lever, you can character swap to cancel that animation of pulling it, and it still gets activated anyway. Here's the first of fairly mean door clips, but that one is no problem. And then the one at the end of this room is probably the hardest in the run. However, I find it goes much better if I can stop thinking about it and just let muscle memory take over. Obviously, it takes a long time to get there because it's such a tricky trick, but we'll see. I'm gonna blabber on and see if muscles do what they're supposed to do. They don't. Yeah, here we are. Okay.
Yeah, the things that make door clips harder than others is generally if they're at an angle, it's going to be a bit harder to get the right angles on your control stick or your D-pad, and if there's a very small amount of space, because if Yoda goes a bit too much to one side, then that's the door clip ruined. And that one has both. It's at an angle and it's not a very wide door, so it can be really tricky. And yeah, if you're not on top of your door clips on a specific day, you can just be stuck there for ages and ages and ages.
We are pretty sure, not 100% confident, but we do think that is a frame perfect clip because of the lack of space. And then here, there's like little event cutscenes that happen. You saw maybe the screen shake a little bit there, and that's because I did a jump slam attack with Yoda. I didn't quite get it there, it would have been visible. But that is just to get a tiny bit more distance when I don't actually have control over Yoda. Little things like that they are small, but they do add up. And then this door, again, you have to actually open it to get the level end active. All right, let me breathe for a second. We're going
The
into
final
Darth Maul,
level.
which is the last level. And yeah, Shem, if you want to take it away for this level, that would be great.
Alright, so the very first thing, it starts off with a mini boss fight against Darth Maul where you're supposed to throw back canisters, but you can hit him with your your bombs, and that'll deal the damage but not show it on screen, and so by just reflecting the last one back at him, you can finish that first phase way faster. If you hit him 3 times, it won't end the phase, and if you hit him 3 times and then you knock the canister back, it will crash the game. So John has to be very careful not to overdo it, and just hit the precise bombs. It can be a little hard to angle them properly, but if you do it correctly, you'll see them flash red very briefly, so you kind of know when you've done it correctly.
And by the way, I'm going for a quicker method of going down the middle here. I got a little bit of height storage. No, I didn't. I tried. So what I'm supposed to get is a big boost at the end of this jump, just so I can go straight down the middle. There you go. Yeah, that is a frame perfect attack and swap on the same frame. You know, it's not as bad as other frame perfect tricks, but yeah. Then we have 4 Yoda clips right at the end of the run.
Shouts to the room of pointlessness.
Gotta be my best Yoda clip performance like ever, right? And then yeah, we're gonna... Oh, I'm not doing the method. I totally forgot. I had like any percent on the brain, I guess, where I wouldn't go around the room. But I think I got myself into position here, where if I go right here, I can throw a bomb at him again to actually progress the phase, even though I didn't force that canister back at him. And the time is coming up very shortly. I've got 1 more canister throw and then 4 hearts, which will go very quickly because of the bombs. All right, get ready. 2, 1, and time.
GG's.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that went. I actually don't know what the time is, so when we do know, I would love to hear it. But I do
Final
think
time was 38:30.
38. Okay, yeah, that's a little slower than I would have liked, but you know, I had a while of just looking for my first sub 40 in a marathon, and fortunately we're past that. But yeah, 38:30.
That beats my PB.
Yay! All right. Shem is no slouch, very good runner. Hasn't run with a new route yet though, so I've been really happy with the activity this game is getting. Shoutouts to Lord Magecar. This run would not be possible. I meant to mention him earlier, but I totally forgot. This run would not be possible without his discoveries, such as Yoda clips and many other crazy shenanigans that we saw during this chaos. And then Nuxmaster found a couple of things as well. Also has been running this game for even longer than I have. I've been waffling for long enough. I don't think I have anything else to say. Do you, Shem?
I don't think so, but if you liked this run, do it, try it. It's pretty fun. There's a few other options in terms of LEGO Star Wars as well. Any percent is pretty beginner friendly, even if it's not as fun, but yeah, this is a very good run if you want to get into LEGO speedrunning.
This is my favorite category ever, so please try it. And yeah, thank you again for having me on.
And GG once again, laser trap on that run of Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Yes, everything you saw there, that was the complete saga. There's nothing else in Star Wars at all. Period. And of course, thank you all in chat and everywhere else once again for raising $1,052 so far at Quest for Quet. We are still working towards that milestone of $1,250 to get those bonus races in, and we still have that bid war open for the language selection for Octopath Traveler between English and Japanese. I also like to mention that if you would like to see any pictures of Quet or any videos, especially on Quet and Anade's journey after this event, Anade will be posting 2 TikToks, so you can type !socials or !TikTok in chat for the link to both of those. And of course, we also have Trainer Anade's Discord recently posted in chat as well, if you would like to see some photos of Quet trying to avoid napping, I guess, which sounds absolutely adorable. And with that, that is actually going to do it here for me at Quest for Quet. I've had so much fun here at the hosting desk as well as running Morrowind for you all yesterday evening. Thank you once again for meeting that milestone incentive. And I am now going to hand it off to our next host, and we are going to transition over to our next run after this one, which is going to be Super Mario Galaxy 2. Stay tuned.
Hello, everybody. I am your new host. Oh, hey, it's Kara. You can just call me Kara, though. Taken over for Musical Daredevil at this wonderful event, Quest for Cat. If you've been here earlier today, you know what it's all about. But if you just got here, we are raising money for a friend of the community, trainer Anade, to train and raise Quet, a brand new on the scene service animal. And already y'all have raised over $1,000 in just a day and change, which is absolutely incredible. As a reminder, or new information if you're just joining us, we are currently moving towards that milestone of $1,250. And if we hit that milestone, the Sonic Riders future race that's coming up we will get some extra races with Blaze and Vector, which gets you about 10 more minutes of Sonic Riders, which if you've seen a Sonic Riders game, a lot happens in 10 minutes. So that's a lot of Sonic Riders that you're going to want to see. We need just under $200 to get there. We've also got a bid war open for our Octopath Traveler run later tonight to choose the language. Right now, it is between English and Japanese. English is in the lead, but only by $1, which means that if you got a strong opinion on that, you could make your dreams a reality so quickly, so easily. Just put !donate in the chat to find the link to donate.